Hi everyone, Claudia here from Lighting Clarity. I have your channel messages for the week beginning Monday the 25th of March. Please bear with me while I connect for you all. Thank you. I call him Ascended Master. I can't pronounce the name very well. Sanat, Kumara, or Kumara. I'm calling him the Ascended Master through this, but Sanat Kumara is who's coming through. He is known as a higher Ascended Master. I don't think he's necessarily incarnated on earth before, and he helps to bring through and open up the heart lights of those of us on the earth and on other realms. He really does bring through God's love and light from the heavens. He works from a higher perspective, from one of the higher realms. In the heavens we have, as you know, you've heard me talk about the Ascended Masters and the Archangels, and we all know them, yeah, and your spirit guides, we all know them. There is a level within heaven where there are beings that have never incarnated before. They neither have bodies nor names that we could ever even understand. Their energy. He's not one of them, but he's close to being one of them. I'd say he's just one below that, because I see him. He presents as a beautiful. I'm seeing like a beautiful man in front of me, and I can see who he is, and energetically him coming through. He works alongside other Ascended Masters as well. They're of the highest light to bring through God's love and ignite each of our heart centers, and he just shows me, and the third eye as well, allowing you to see heaven's love more clearly. I'm just going to allow the energy between us to grow stronger. Just be with me. He's a keeper of the light, as such is what he calls himself. He says there is a new wave of energy coming to Earth. I didn't know this before. He says there's a new wave of energy coming to Earth that's going to shift humanity onto a higher footing. And each of you who are watching this will be affected by that within your lives quite acutely. You will find that there is some sort of a turnaround in which, in which you have previously not seen before within your lives. So he says, you contracted to be here at this time. You contracted to be here for the changes upon your earth, that you wanted to be the ones to bring these energies in. You wanted to be the ones to experience these energies, and to also assist with distributing these energies just by being on the earth, just by you being you. So he shows me within each of you there's going to be an opening with each of you to do with your intuitions and the heart centers. This opening is to do with bringing in more level or a high level of understanding that wants to come in from the heavens, that we're going to be one of the ones that we distribute, he says, to assist with humanity's growth, as this is what is needed at this time with the collisions that are happening upon your earth, he says. He says some of you are walking a little bit aimlessly. He says there is a need to reground and be on your road. He says a lot of you are already on your roads. He says we ask you to continue. Some of you feel as though you're on your roads and you're walking in the dark for a bit. You're trying to feel your way. Where is the wall? Where is this item? And where is that? He says, I want you to continue walking down this. This is about a lesson of faith. The road that you're on currently, this is about a lesson of faith with what is that you cannot see yet coming in for you, believing that it is there, he says, believing that it is being delivered in due time, believing that you will come to the point you're meant to be at, which is your next point. He says, trust you will find your next point, that next point will come in. He says each of you have an amazing ability within you to be able to bring forward that which you want for yourselves. He says sometimes you've actually handed it to heaven and let it go and gone, I don't know how to deal with this here, like this with your hands. He says, we want you to take your power back. He says, not necessarily to throw your arms in the air and to give up. He says you have the ability to work out whatever it is within your lives you need to work out. He says you didn't come here to earth without having that ability. He says each of you has that capacity, that intelligence, that emotional intelligence. He says you can do this. Don't think you've been given a task that you cannot do. He says you can do this, whatever the task is in front of you. So he says each of you are also being prepared for new skills that are coming in. I'm seeing intuitive skills is what he's making me feel. There'll be a level of reality in which you will understand reality in a different way than what you are now. And that's going to give you the bird's eye view when you look down on your life and look down on the paths that you want to head down, and even an understanding of what is coming into our world due to what other countries are doing. You're understanding energetically of what's coming in for them, what that's going to mean for us, and how that's going to affect you within the countries you live in. It's a very interesting reading this. I didn't expect this. We'll keep going. He says, I stand by each of you. None of you have ever been forgotten. He says your holy teams are standing by you, and they have a very grounded and big task to get you to the next step, to get you to the next footing, because it is important that each of you reach this. And along the lines of that, he says it's also important as you walk along that your third eyes are opened, that your blinkers are off. And he says your spirit teams are assisting you to have that, so then you have that heightened understanding. Now in closing, he says, I don't want you getting lost and upset over small things. Don't. He says some of you, these are his words, not mine, some of you overly procrastinate over small things. You get overly upset over small things. He says you tie yourself in knots. He says, I want you to rise above them. Have that confidence to rise above those small annoyances that come up to do with whatever it is to do within your life. He says some of you are making them bigger than what they are, and some of you are staying in that energy of overly analysing, overly being upset about something small, overly procrastinating. He says you're wasting time. These are his words. He says, I want you to move forward. We want you to rise above. You cannot change certain people, and sometimes you cannot change certain situations in your life because they are to do with other people. You are not in control of that. You are in control of you, he says. He says, please know that you will reach the goals you are meant to reach in this lifetime. We ask that you also bring in the energy of enjoyment as you walk along your path as best you can. Sometimes you all forget to enjoy yourselves. Sometimes you will get so caught up in, I've got to accomplish this goal, he says, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. He says, I want you to enjoy. Remember to enjoy yourself. When you enjoy yourself, he says, that relaxes the heart center. And that allows in energy to resolve and assist with the situations around you that you haven't been able to resolve or move forward. So he leaves you with a beautiful rose-coloured light that he places in the sacral for each of you. It's just a real gentleness. And he connects the sacral to the heart centers. If you want to receive this, then just do that with intention. And he's doing this. He says, I want you to follow your hearts. I want you to feel what is it you can accomplish. Some of you have got your heads down. He says there is no need. You can accomplish the things you want to accomplish. So he's working on the sacral. The sacral is to do with your creativity. It is to do with your goals. I've always thought that's with your creativity, your goals, your relationships, your sexuality. And he's just doing a lot of work there for you. And he's making sure he connects the sacral with the heart to give the heart the remembrance of what is that it actually can do, and give the heart the courage as well, and vice versa with the sacral. Breathing into both for me for a minute, and then breathing back out through them, just taking your time. As I thank Ascended Master Kumara, Ascended Master Sanat Kumara for coming in. All right, more many blessings, and I'll connect with all of you again this week. Thanks everyone.